Hey, chickadees. So today we're coming back into our interior to get reacquainted with who we are after a couple of heavy days and heavy topics here on Mojo Mysticism. So come on in and join us. All right, welcome in. So today is day 4 of our week about remaining calm. And here's what's interesting. I read an article, a Newsweek article earlier today that was talking about, and I'm going to grossly paraphrase this because I don't remember a lot of the details about it. But I do know that what it was talking about is emotional regulation, or emotion regulation, not emotional regulation, emotion regulation. And what I thought was really interesting about the article and really poignant for today, so yesterday we talked about staying calm in kind of more high stakes situations out in the community and that sort of thing. At least that's what came out. But what was really interesting about the article is that the author was talking about how emotion regulation and there's basically a big kind of disconnect between what we think emotion regulation is and what calmness and stillness are when the stakes are high and when we're talking about things that we advocate for. And we've talked a little bit about that this week on this channel. And, you know, the emotion regulation and getting to a place where we're calm does not mean that we're not angry. It doesn't mean that we're not experiencing those other emotions. It means that we are not controlled by them. We can act and think clearly, right? So that we can act with intention. So in Shift, I am I've got a chapter on deliberate intent. And this really is the topic of it in a lot of ways, is that we come to a point in our development as human beings on this planet where we realize that the energy that it takes to act out on strong emotions does not pay off. It doesn't mean that we don't act on strong emotion. We do, but we get in a place of calmness and stillness and clarity first, right? So we get to that calm place, and then with intention that is deliberate, that is when we act. And you've heard me say on this channel many times that power is quiet. Power is quiet. Power is feeling the emotion, but getting to a place of calm. The emotion doesn't go away. We are not emotionally checking out here. That is not what this is about at all. It is getting to a place where we can do something that's constructive with that emotion. Okay, so we can come at it from a place that is about rebuilding, or maybe deconstructing something that needs to be deconstructed, but we're doing it with deliberate intent. We are not controlled by our emotions. That is the difference. And that was the difference this author was trying to clarify in the article about emotion regulation. And I think his was mostly around like political unrest and that sort of thing, and advocacy. So yeah, I am not saying we should not be advocates, because I think we should. That's how we create a better future. I'm saying the state that we are in internally that can be the most helpful for that is a place of calm. So doesn't mean we're not angry, doesn't mean that we're not frustrated and fed up with whatever it is that we're fed up with, whatever that case may be for you. It means that we come at it from a place of stillness and calmness and very deliberate. So, all right, so today we're just going to continue the theme because I don't know what they're going to come up with, so we're just going to see what happens. So We're going to pull today from Diana Cooper's Archangel Animal Oracle cards. So I think we've pulled from this deck on this channel. I don't recall. It's a relatively new deck. But I am just sure that they're going to want us to get 3 cards out of here. So we'll just see. We'll just shuffle them and see what pops out. So what's going to come out to help us understand remaining calm with interpersonal relationships. I mean, at the micro level or the macro level, who knows? One card's come out already. Let's see what else they have for us. Here's the second one. And we are looking for card 3. And while we're looking for card 3 to come out, I do want to thank you all for being kind and the loving people that you are as I continue to learn and grow. I am doing my own video editing because I find it fun. When it no longer is fun, I will no longer do it, just so you know. That is kind of my thing. I do what's fun. And I have moved to a different editing software, and I have a different kind of process. And what I noticed with the video that came out on Monday is, and this may happen Tuesday and Wednesday too, I'm not sure, but I noticed, at least on that video, that it seemed like there was only one side of the audio for my voice that was coming in. And then also the music, I couldn't get the music track to go in, so there's that. So thank you for your patience as I relearn a few little aspects about what we're doing here. So but I do enjoy video editing, so hopefully it's not too bad for you. It's not bad enough that you just unsubscribe. Please don't do that. Let me know first before you do that because of the quality of the video. So, all right. So, 3 cards are out. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so we have the Swan. That was the first card. This is about demonstrating grace and majesty in all that we do. And then the second card is the Hyena, which is daring to be different. And then the third one is Pig, and the Pig is about self-worth and self-esteem. So, okay, so first of all, Swan is about acting like, this card is similar to Royal You, and it's about acting from a place of calm and peace and deep knowing and inner confidence. And yeah, so, like just everything I just said. So there's that. Well, every day I get surprised like this, so yeah. So earlier today, literally like less than an hour ago, I was told by my guides that I'm going to be doing something by September. I am not going to announce it here other than something might happen in September. But it was one of those things where, if you've been around the channel a while, you kind of know there's sometimes when things can kind of take me by surprise. That one took me by surprise. So, all right, so let's look at Hyena here. Yeah, because I think we covered Swan with everything we just talked about in the kind of the entry. So, but with Hyena, Hyena is about, since this is the Dare to Be Different card, this is really asking us to accept ourselves for exactly who we are, and especially the things that make us unique, those qualities that we don't see in everyone else, and the things that that we bring to the table that maybe the others at the table don't bring. It's so beautiful when that, I'm going to call it the symphony. I know in the Wisdom of the Oracle cards, they talk about the symphony and, the parts in the symphony. And that's kind of what Hyena is. It's recognizing, though, in yourself, the things that are unique to you and bringing your unique brilliance to the world and bringing it to every situation you're in. It requires that, first of all, you know what your unique brilliance is. And then secondly, that you are in absolute authenticity, as authentic as you know how to be. And that's when you bring your beautiful brilliance to the world, and it makes such a huge difference. And we realize that it takes all of us to come together to really help understand things. And so when you build those circles of trust and those, those inner circle friendships, those kinds of things, make sure that they're varied people, not just people that look like you, right? Or that that are on your exact same path. Make sure they have different perspectives and really honor that about everybody. So, but yeah, this is also about self-discipline. So this is asking us to understand that self-discipline is the basis for our mastery of our unique brilliance. So radical acceptance, again, and mastery, identification of our unique brilliance, identification of our authenticity, and then developing mastery in that. That is what Hyena is all about. And then we have our friend Pig. So I have a story to tell you about pigs. So I remember my grandfather, he was actually my step-grandfather, and he was a hog farmer. And he, he had lots of hogs, and he had some cattle and a horse named Cindy. So it wasn't his horse, it was his granddaughter's horse, his other granddaughter, because he was my step-grandfather. And Cindy and I had a lot of deep conversations in the barn. But I remember spending a lot of time with the hogs and the pigs, and I remember one day that one got out, and it was in a cornfield, and the corn it wasn't just sprouts. The corn was taller than me at the time. And it was probably about a block and a half from my grandpa's farm. And I remember hanging out. I was playing around in the cornfield, and I think I was riding my bike or something, and I probably laid my bike down in a ditch and went into the cornfield because, that seemed like more fun. And I had heard this wrestling around in there. And I had to be maybe I was 9 or 10. I don't remember exactly, but I was not very old. And I remember coming face to face with a giant hog. This hog was huge. And I remember just looking at that beautiful animal, and it was like we could speak telepathically. I had no idea what telepathy was. I had no clue at all. And honestly, I thought all this stuff about magic and mysticism was all just a bunch of hooey, because I was trying to subvert who I really was, frankly. But that hog and I just stood face to face with each other for what seemed like a couple of minutes. And I could hear the hog telling me why he was in the cornfield, what he was up to, and that he would go back home when he was tired of being there. And I said, okay. And I left and got on the bike and finished my bike ride, or went back to my grandmother's. I don't remember what I did. But here's what's interesting about that. So I had this beautiful encounter with this pig. And when I got back into my grandparents' home, and I was explaining this to my grandmother with just utter glee and excitement, she and my step-grandfather both freaked out, because they were like, do you know how dangerous a hog is? And I was like, no, we're friends. I don't understand how dangerous it is. We had a beautiful conversation, and I'm sure they thought it was absolutely nuts at that time. But they went in, my grandpa was missing a finger, and he was like, showing his nub, and like, this is what happens when you get too close to hogs. And I'm like, well, maybe. Like, did you piss off the hog? So here I am at 10. I'm about to get my ass whipped, to be honest. But it was an interesting exchange, and the hog was just lovely. And I always would stay when the pigs would be in their, I don't remember what they call it, but their little birthing crates, where they would have their little piglets and rear their little piglets up a little bit. I would always be in there talking to the pigs. And so anyway, I'm very happy that the pig card's out. So I also love that the pig card in this deck is about self-worth and self-esteem, because those are some tangential topics that we've had lately. So, all right, so the pig card is helping us understand how special we are. Right? That's the self-esteem and self-worth. It's like, would you realize that you are beautiful just as you are? And yeah, I'm talking to you today. You're beautiful. You're perfect. You're so perfect. And it is about seventh dimensional. Like, you have to get to seventh dimensional just to be able to be allowed to incarnate on this planet. In my past, I have had a tendency to dim my light a little bit so that others are more comfortable. And it's in my past, and I'm knocking on the wood here because it is in my past, and I'm basically affirming it and telling myself that right now. So, have a good laugh. If you have done that, let that be in your past. If you have ever modified your behavior to suit another person, and I'm not talking about compromise here, because we all have to go through compromise. That's how we live together on the planet. I'm talking about true dimming of your light or modification of the path that you're on. That kind of that's self-abandonment and self-betrayal. That's what that is. And these cards are telling us there's no business for that. There's no room for that here. We have no business doing that, right? We get to demonstrate grace and majesty, remain calm, get in that place of stillness always. Do not abandon who we are. Don't abandon that we're different and what our unique brilliance is. Always remain true to that, right? And maintain our self-worth and our self-esteem while we're dealing with other people. Now, the only way we can do this is if we actually know who we are. And that's where the pig card is reminding us that, hey, we owe it to ourselves to do a little bit of a meditative practice every day. I come from the Tibetan Buddhist traditions, pretty strict on how you meditate. I'm not like that. I used to be, but now I'm like, get comfortable. If it's walking meditation, go out in nature and walk. Do some kind of meditative practice. It could be art for you. It could be listening to music. Whatever it is that helps you get into realignment and helps you get into that place where you can be more comfortable in your own skin. That's what you do, right? Get to know yourself again. I'm getting to know myself again, and it's actually kind of fun. So it's a lot of fun, actually. And as I do that, my future and my steps on my path are becoming clearer and clearer and clearer. So when we are listening to understand, we are bringing it back to ourselves today. That is what our guides are telling us to do. Come back to yourself. Understand who you are. Know thyself. Celebrate yourself in all of its beautiful, unique brilliance. You are a unique expression on this planet, and we need you. So don't dim your light. Don't dim your light. So listen intently to understand how your soul is expressing itself in this lifetime and who you really are. All right, chickadees. That's it for today. I hope you have a fabulous day today. I will be back tomorrow. Love you. Hit subscribe if you like this material. We are growing. We're growing. I got so excited because I had 3 subscribers on YouTube in a single day. That made my day. So thank you all for that. It helps me understand that this content actually helps, and that's all it's intended to do, is just help. So if it's helping you, please hit subscribe. All right, I love you. Have a wonderful day. We will see you next time. Mwah.